Hello friends and welcome to this session for GATE and ESC Electrical Engineering. My friend, this session is going to be one of the most awesome session and you are going to really learn something very new and something that will help you in the exam. In the exam for GATE, may it be 2021 or it may be 2022. Now, before we start the lecture, my friend, let me introduce you myself. My name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR 1 in GATE 2014 and GATE 2018. And my friend, I was also awarded the President of India Gold Medal by the President himself in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Presently, I am working as a director at an academy for GATE department, and that is why constantly I am able to bring new and more initiatives for you. Because an academy is not an institute. An academy is not a coaching. An academy is more of a revolution. An academy is more of a feeling. An academy has everything right that is wrong with every other coaching institute in the country. The name An Academy, my friend, has been comprised of two words, an and academy. That means it has everything that is not there in an academy. So an academy cares about the student in the best way possible. It cares about the student most than or more than any other person can. All the initiatives are centered on the student. That is, they are always working towards the student welfare. And that is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system. That is why, my friend, you are watching this course on power system free of cost on our YouTube channel. So my friend, if you are visiting this channel for the first time, make sure that you have subscribed, because we have electrical machine, power electronics, power system, communication system, EMT, EDC, network, signal, control, digital, everything is here on this channel, that too free of cost, my friend. But what has An Academy done? An Academy has brought a revolution in the country where they are providing the most affordable education, and that too free of that too at the most affordable price, as well as free of cost on YouTube. So my friend, if you want to be a part of the revolution that An Academy has created by means of the courses that are running on An Academy, where they are bringing you the best ever educators of the country on a single platform. That is, you, my friend, can be able to learn from India's top educator at the cheapest or at the most affordable prices possible. At the most affordable prices possible. Now, my friend, I'm talking to you. You can dare to dream. You can dare to enter a PSU. You can dare to dream about MTech from an IIT. Why? Because An Academy has made it possible. An Academy has done everything that is required to get the best rank in GATE examination. So my friend, if you want to join An Academy, make sure that you use the code Ankit ESE, because the door to An Academy opens with this code, and this directly makes me your mentor so that I can guide you at each and every step regarding your GATE preparation. And not only this, you will also get 10% discount on your subscription. Now, what does An Academy bring for you? Not only the live classes. The live classes are the best part of An Academy, where you can interact with the educator, ask your doubt, and make sure that you understand each and every concept and then only exit the class. But other than that, you get dedicated doubt session, where you can post a pic of a question and ask any doubt, any number of doubts. Then you have weekly quizzes. Every Sunday we test how much you have understood. Then there are daily practice paper which we provide you for practice. Then there are practice questions from An Academy. Then there are test series from An Academy. Then there is crash course where we will boost your rank in the last few months. There is rank improvement batch for the students who have already done well in the GATE examination. Now, my friend, all of this just with one subscription fees, where you don't have to pay anything again and again or anything extra. That is the magic of An Academy. Just join An Academy without thinking too much.
Hi guys, up to now whatever analysis we have performed, that was for the case of overhead transmission line. Overhead transmission lines are those which pass through the towers and they are raised at a certain height. So for installation of overhead lines, we need to install the towers. Okay. So for overhead lines, we need towers. But now, not everywhere it is possible to construct the towers. Now suppose if there is a large water body and you are unable to construct the tower, then how to cross that water body, or how to supply power to cross that water body? Then we make use of underground cables. Underground cables, as the name suggests, these are laid underground and they are used for flexible AC power transfer. Okay, so they help us in transmitting power where overhead line construction is not possible. But wherever overhead line is possible, overhead line will be preferable as the cost will be pretty low. Now, underground cable is what? It is nothing but a conductor which is insulated throughout its length. Okay, if it is a conductor, then there will be insulation around the conductor. Or if there are more than one conductor in a cable, like 3 conductors, let us say for 3 phase, they will be insulated. Each conductor will have its own insulation. Okay, so that is how basically our underground cable works. So the entire conductor is insulated and it is laid underground. Okay, and the usage is wherever overhead line is not possible. Now how does our underground cable look like? In the center we have the core or conductor, and around the conductor we have insulation. Actually these all layers are cylindrical, so this is core, then there is insulation, and outside the insulation we have metallic sheaths. So the next layer will be metallic sheath. After metallic sheath we will have bedding, then we will have armoring, and the last layer will be serving. Okay, we will understand the usage of each and every layer, but these are different protective layers in a underground cable. Now why there are so many layers required? Because once the cable is laid underground, the maintenance of the cable is difficult. So we need to protect the cable at any cost so that we do not have to clear the fault, or we do not have to replace the cable. That is why installation cost of the cable is high, but the maintenance cost of the cable will be low. It is only involving one-time cost. Now whenever there are more than one conductors inside a cable, insulating layer will be different for each and every conductor, but rest of the outside layers will be same. Like just now I told you, suppose this is one conductor, second conductor, third conductor, and then there will be insulation, but then outside the insulation all the layers will be common for all 3 conductors. That is why if we incorporate more than one conductor in a single cable, cost is saved, because the outer protective layers are same for all the 3 conductors. That is why we will have lesser cost if we use multi-core cable. Now let us understand first what is the purpose of insulation. Now this is my conductor, outside there is insulation. Why is it so? Because you can assume that the insulation is grounded. So if there was no insulation, then there will be a flow of current from the conductor to the ground, or it will act as a LG fault. Okay, that is line to ground fault. The line will be grounded. So we need to prevent the flow of current from the conductor to the ground. Okay, ILG should be low. That is done by means of insulator. It prevents any current flow from the conductor to the ground. Now what are the desirable properties of insulator? Whenever we are choosing an insulating material, what properties do we look for? First is our insulator should be high. Now leakage current, as we saw in overhead line also, it will be V phase by our insulator. If this is high, leakage current is low. So that satisfies our criteria that the leakage current should be as low as possible. Next is dielectric strength should be high. Okay. Now what is the concept behind high dielectric strength? Now when the transmission is at high voltage, as we know, we transmit the power at high voltage to minimize the losses. Due to high voltage, the electric field is also high. But if the dielectric strength of the material is not high, then what will happen? The material will break down. So we need to have high dielectric strength so that the insulator does not break down at higher voltages. Next is non-hygroscopic. Non-hygroscopic implies that the material should not retain water. Why it should not retain moisture or water? Because moisture will make it more conducting, and if it becomes conducting, then its insulation resistance will go down. That is why we need the material should not retain any moisture. That is, it is non-hygroscopic. Next is impurity free. As you might be knowing from the semiconductor theory, that adding the doping or the impurities makes a material more conductive. That is why it should be highly pure or it should be less impure, so that its insulation resistance is high. And the last is chemically inactive. It should not react with any chemicals that are present beneath the Earth's surface. As beneath the Earth's surface, there might be a lot of dangerous chemicals which can degrade the insulator, which can corrode the insulator. So that is why it should be chemically inert, so that it does not react with those material and its dielectric strength and the insulation resistance remain intact. Now, what are the most common materials that we use? The first material that we use is vulcanized rubber. Its dielectric strength is 10 to 20 kV per mm. Next material that we use is PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride. Its dielectric strength is 18 kV per mm. The next is impregnated paper. Its dielectric strength will be 30 kV per mm. And the last is XLPE, which is X implies cross linked polyethylene, 20 kV per mm. Now based on whatever is the electric field that is being generated inside the cable, okay, because dielectric strength should always be greater than the maximum value of electric field, based on that we will choose the insulation. Okay, so first you will have to estimate the maximum electric field inside the cable. Moving on to the other layers, the next layer after the insulation is sheath. The purpose of metallic sheath is to prevent any moisture entry into the insulator. As I told you, the insulator should not retain any moisture. So to protect the insulation from the moisture, we use metallic sheath. It is generally made of aluminium or lead. Then outside that is bedding. The role of bedding is to protect the sheath layer from any corrosion, okay, so that it does not react with any chemicals beneath the earth's surface. We have to place bedding layer over the sheath layer. Here we can use any fibrous material like jute or cotton, something like that, which has fibrous properties or which has fibers, that can be used as bedding, and it should be cheap because its purpose is just to avoid corrosion on the metallic sheath. Okay, so it should be cheap only. It do not serve any other purpose. Next is armoring. Now as the name implies, it acts as an armor, that is to protect the cable. So how does it protect the cable? It protects the cable from any mechanical damage. Now when the cable is being transported, it can incur any mechanical damage, and whenever you are laying it down beneath the earth's surface, it can break down or it can suffer any damages. So to protect the insulation and the conductor from getting any damages, we use a outer layer called as armoring. So it will prevent any mechanical damages in the cable. It is generally made of steel tape. Okay, that is the material that is used to make the layer armoring. And the last is serving. Serving is again made of fibrous material and it protects the armoring layer. Okay, so it does not let the armoring layer to be corroded by the materials present beneath the earth surface. So to protect the armoring layer, we have our serving. Next, let us compare the performance of overhead line with the underground cable. Now the essential difference between the overhead line and the UG cable is the distance between the conductors. Now whenever you are making all the three conductors in a single cable, you have to keep less distance between the three conductors. Otherwise the radius of the cable would be very high, which is impractical. Like if you keep the distance 8 meter, then the radius of the cable will be so high that you cannot manufacture and transport the cable. So the distance reduces in case of a UG cable. Now due to reduction in distance between the conductor, GMD in a UG cable is less. Now what happens due to reduction in GMD? First of all, overhead line inductance will be greater than UG cable because inductance is given by mu by 2 pi ln GMD by GMR. So reduction in GMD will lead to reduction in inductance. Then capacitance 2 pi epsilon naught epsilon r ln GMD by r. So reduction in GMD will lead to more capacitance. So capacitance of overhead line will be less than capacitance of UG. Now due to increase in capacitance, what will happen? The line charging current will increase. So IC overhead line will be less than IC UG. Due to increase in line charging current, Ferranti effect will increase. So Ferranti effect in overhead line is less than Ferranti effect in UG. Okay. So that means we will need more protection or more compensation against Ferranti effect in case of underground cable as compared to overhead line. Now due to reduction in L and increment in C, what happened to the surge impedance? ZC is under root L by C. So inductance reduces, capacitance increases. So ZC will reduce. So ZC of our overhead line is greater than ZC of UG cable. Surge impedance loading of overhead line will then be surge impedance loading of UG cable. Okay. Surge impedance loading is V square by ZC. So it is inversely proportional to ZC. If ZC reduces, that means SIL will increase. So ideal power transfer capability of a UG cable is more than underground, more than overhead line. But what happens if you operate at such a high power level? Then the current in the cable would be very high, which will lead to more losses and the more heating. But such a high value of heat may not be dissipated through the cable. So we will keep the loading much below the surge impedance loading. So in case of UG cable, loading is kept less than SIL. But in case of overhead line, loading is always greater than SIL. Okay. Then since the inductance is being reduced, I can say the reactance of overhead line is greater than reactance of UG cable. Now we saw maximum power is given as mod Vs mod Vr by X. Since reactance of UG cable is less, so its Pmax would be high. So that means steady state limit is also high in case of UG cable. Now since steady state and the SIL limits are very high in case of UG cable, so the critical design criteria that becomes to decide the loading is the thermal limit. Because these limits have been exceeded but not the thermal limit, so loading is only decided on the basis of thermal limit in case of underground cable. And to compensate the Ferranti effect, we can use a series reactor. Why? Because Pmax is already very high in case of UG cable. Even if you use a series reactor, reactance will increase and Pmax will decrease. But already we are operating at a level much below the Pmax. So even if Pmax reduces, we are safely operating much below the Pmax due to loading deciding on the basis of surge impedance, loading deciding on the basis of thermal limit. So that is why it is safe to increase the reactance. What I am saying is, in this case, the limits will be arranged how? Thermal limit, then SIL, then Pmax. So we have to take care that none of the limits is violated. So we will keep loading less than thermal limit. So what will happen is, suppose this is 100 megawatt and this is 200 megawatt. By using series reactor, the reactance will increase and Pmax will go down. Suppose it comes down to 150 megawatt. But already we are keeping power less than 100 megawatt. So even if Pmax reduces, that does not impact the performance of the cable, because loading is safely below the Pmax already. Okay. So that is why we can use a series reactor in case of underground cable. Next let us understand what are the other effects that are incurred if we keep the conductors close together. Okay. Now whenever the conductors are closely kept, then what will happen is, let me divide two conductors which are kept close together into three sections. Let us say 1, 1 dash, 2, 2 dash, 3, 3 dash. And now to determine the flux or the magnetic field intensity, we will use Ampere's law. So the flux contained integral H dot dl is equal to I enclosed. So enclosed current in 1 prime will be lesser as compared to enclosed current in 2 prime and as compared to enclosed current in 3 prime. So enclosed current is greater than 2 prime is greater than 1 prime. What I am talking about is enclosed current. Since I am increasing the size of the loop, the current that is enclosed in the loop will also go on increasing. Now due to this, flux linkages are also higher as the current increases. Now due to high flux linkages, EMF will also be higher as we move outwards. Now we know induced EMF opposes the cause of induction. So the cause of induction is the flow of current. So this EMF will restrict the flow of current, or it will reduce the current. So as we move out, the current should reduce. That means I 3 prime will be less than I 2 prime less than I 1 prime. Now first of all, let us understand the difference between this statement and this. Here the current that we are talking about is enclosed current, that is total current inside this loop. Okay. But here the current that I am talking about is only in this region. So the current in 3 and 3 prime region will be less than current in 1 and 1 prime. I am not talking about any enclosed currents. So that means the current will be mostly concentrated on the inner surfaces of the conductors. That is, it is called as proximity effect. Whenever two conductors are kept as a close distance from each other, the current is mostly concentrated at the inner surfaces as compared to the outer edges. So this leads to a non-uniform distribution of current or restriction in the area of cross section through which the current flows. Since the area of cross section reduces, so the resistance will increase. So due to this also the resistance increases, as is the case with the skin effect. But with the skin effect we said current flows through the bulk or the center of the conductor is less as compared to the outer edges. Here we are saying current is mostly concentrated at the edges of conductor which are facing each other, and it is less at the outer edges. So like skin effect also, it causes more resistance and more losses. Okay. So now let us next understand what is the insulation resistance. As I told you, the first requirement of an insulator is to have a high resistance. So this is the DC model of a cable. Here the resistance between cable and ground is the insulator resistance, and the resistance inside the cable is the core resistance. Core resistance is simply rho L by A, where A is the cross-sectional area of the cable, rho is the resistivity of the core, L is the length of cable. As simple as that. Okay. But what about the insulator? So here I have shown the cross-sectional view of a cable. Up to small r we have our conductor, and up to capital R we have our core. So we consider a small filament inside the insulating layer which has a radius x and a width dx. Now the current flows from the core to the earth. We will consider this as earth. So current will flow radially outwards. Okay. So the length that it encounters while flowing radially outwards is dx. So the small resistance will be rho insulator into dx, and the area that it encounters is the curved surface area of this cylinder, which is 2 pi x into L. That is the curved surface area. So dr is rho dx by 2 pi xl. Remember, here rho is the insulator resistivity, here rho was the core resistivity. Now to determine the total resistance, we will integrate this from small r to capital R. So it will be rho by 2 pi L. 1 by x integration is log x, ln r by r. Okay, remember this is the total resistance ohms. Do not get confused that since we have divided by the length, it represents the resistance per unit length. No, it represents the total resistance of the insulating layer in a UG cable. Now if you see, as we increase the length, the insulation resistance will go on decreasing. Okay, so that is, it varies inversely with the length. This is the most important relation when it comes to insulation resistance. Even if you do not remember the entire expression, just remember that it is inversely proportional to the length. Now insulators have a negative temperature coefficient. Why? Because as the temperature will increase, the thermal energy in the atoms will increase, which can lead to ionization of electrons. So charge carriers will increase as we increase the temperature. And if we increase the number of charge carriers, the conductivity will increase and the resistivity will go down. So the resistance reduces as we increase the temperature in a insulator. Okay. So they have a negative temperature coefficient. So what I am saying is, as temperature increases, insulation resistance decreases, due to which leakage current will increase. There will be more leakage from the conductor to the ground. Okay. So that means higher temperature is undesirable in a cable, it leads to more leakage. And what about the core? Conductors have positive temperature coefficient. So as temperature increases, core resistance will increase. So R core will increase. So what will happen to the conductor current or the core current? I core is constant. Why? Because I core will determine something like this, PR by root 3 VR. It does not depend on the resistance of the core, rather it depends on the load. So I core will depend on this load resistance but not on the resistance of the cable. Okay. So whatever is the core resistance, that does not determine what is the current that flows through the core. So that is about the resistance of the insulating layer. Now as I told you, we choose the dielectric based on the maximum electric field inside the underground cable. So we have to estimate the electric field distribution and then determine what is the maximum electric field in the cable. So we will assume that since it is a cylindrical conductor, it has infinite length and the charge density is lambda coulomb per meter. Then what is the electric field at a distance x? Lambda, Ex will be lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught, or let us say epsilon naught epsilon r x. Why am I using epsilon r here? Because the insulating layer will have some relative permittivity. It will not be unity. But in case of overhead lines, since they are hanging in air, there is no insulating layer around the conductor. So we can say epsilon naught, there will be no need of epsilon r. But here we will take epsilon r due to permittivity of the insulator. Okay. So what will happen is, if we want to find the voltage difference between the conductor surface and the insulator surface. Insulator surface is also called as sheath, because outside the insulator we have metallic sheath. Now, in case of conductors, we say the entire charge resides at the surface of conductor. So electric field inside the core of the conductor will be 0. Okay, because there is no charge present inside the conductor. But what about the electric field distribution from small r to capital R? So let me assume the potential difference between core and sheath is V, which will be actually equal to phase voltage. Between the conductor and sheath we have the phase voltage. So V phase will be minus integral E dot dx. Okay, so this is actually V core minus sheath. Since we are doing core minus sheath, that means we are starting at sheath and ending at the core. So it will be from capital R to small r. Okay, why I am doing it so? Because when you are taking VAB, it is VA minus VB. So final point is VA, initial point is VB. So here we are doing core minus sheath, final point is core, initial is sheath. It can also be written as E dot dx from small r up to capital R. So lambda by 2 pi epsilon x dx from small r to capital R. Again integration will be log x, lambda by 2 pi epsilon ln r by r. If we substitute the value of lambda in terms of V, lambda is coming out to be 2 pi epsilon V by ln r by r. Now if we substitute this value of lambda in the electric field expression, 2 pi epsilon will get cancelled out. It will be V by x ln r by r. Now from both these expressions we can see that electric field is inversely proportional to distance. That means maximum electric field will be at distance small r and minimum at the capital R. So E min will be V by capital R ln r by r, and E max will be V by small r ln r by r. Now how does the electric field distribution looks like? Now what happens inside the core of the conductor? electric field will be 0. At small r it will be high, then it will decrease hyperbolically. So this will be Emax and Emin. So we will choose the dielectric based on the value of Emax. Okay. But here if you see the electric field is non-uniformly distributed. So if we choose a dielectric having a dielectric strength greater than Emax. Now suppose this is 15, this is 5. So we will choose a dielectric having a dielectric strength greater than 15. Let us say 20. So here the difference is only 5. So that means I am utilizing the dielectric very well. But here the difference in the dielectric strength and the electric field is 15. So the dielectric is not getting sufficiently utilized, or you are not better utilizing the dielectric. Okay, its strength is getting wasted. You can save, or you can bear up to 20 kilovolt per mm, but you are only having 5 kilovolt per mm electric field. Okay, so we will choose the dielectric based on Emax, but the desirable condition is that the electric field should be uniform instead of electric field being varying hyperbolically. Okay, so that is the electric field distribution. Next we come to most economic radius of the core. Now to reduce the cost, let us go backwards. If Emax reduces, that means dielectric strength, G is representing the dielectric strength, reduces, the dielectric strength requirement will reduce. Suppose if the maximum field is 10 kV per mm, then I can take the dielectric having a dielectric strength 15 kV per mm. If it is 15, then we will choose a dielectric of 20. So that means dielectric strength requirement will also reduce. So the cost will also go down. So we have to choose the radius of the core, that is small r, such that maximum electric field is low. Just now we saw Emax is given by V by R ln r by r. Okay, so we have to minimize this Emax. To minimize this, the denominator must be maximized. So how to maximize? D by dr of r ln capital R by small r should be 0. So that is ln r by r plus r into r by r, that is 1 upon x into minus what it will be, r by r derivative will be r by r square. Okay, that is by chain rule. So this gets cancelled, this also gets cancelled. So it is ln r by r equal to 1, which implies r by r equal to E. So radius of the core should be capital R by E. This is the most economic radius, or this is a radius at which the cost of the cable would be minimum. Okay, so that is how we design the conductor radius, but usually this value is not used because this is not practical. So let us summarize what we learnt in this lecture. We first saw the construction of UG cable and where it is used. Then we saw comparison with overhead line. Okay, we saw the surge impedance loading and Pmax is very high, due to which what happens, we keep the loading less than the thermal limit, hence less than SIL. Then we saw insulation resistance and proximity effect. So proximity effect tends to increase the which resistance? Core resistance, just like the skin effect, and it is only predominant when the conductors are close together, hence it will not be seen in overhead line but in case of UG cable. Then we saw electric field distribution, it was V by X ln R by R, and at last we saw most economic radius is R by E. In the next lecture we will continue from this point and explore more concepts in case of UG cable.
So my friend, if you want to join an academy, if you like the lecture, if you like the content that you have just watched, and you have decided that an academy is the right place for you, and you want to learn with me, you want to learn from me, then don't hesitate, because that is where we are conducting free classes every day that will boost your GATE rank. So if you decide to take subscription, click on GATE and ESE, click on get subscription. After this, you can choose the plan that you want to opt for. The final year and dropper can take 1 year plan, second and the third year can take 2 year plan. But don't forget to use the code Ankit ESE. This will give you 10% off, as well as it will bring you under my guidance. And as you can see, the prices are really affordable, my friend. It is much less than any other institute can offer you, and that is why I keep repeating, Unacademy is not an academy. It is a revolution. It is a feeling. You can make the payment by credit, debit card, EMI, net banking. Also, EMI is available on debit card, but for HDFC debit card and Bajaj Finserv debit card. So if you are from a weak financial background, you can pay the amount in installments, but only use the code Ankit ESE. And my friend, these are some videos where I have told how to study, how to get the best rank in GATE, and these videos will really help you in cracking GATE. So make sure that you watch each and every one of them. And my friend, these are our other channels, like for mechanical we have, for civil also we have, for computer science we have for SSC, JEE, all branches, electrical, mechanical, civil. And on this channel we have the previous year question video solution, that too free of cost. And many more channels will be coming very soon for you guys. So be a part of our YouTube family, and you can take the benefit of all the free content that we are bringing. And my friend, this is my Telegram channel, where you will find the notes of each and every lecture that I take. And this is my Unacademy profile, which you can follow to watch my content for free on Unacademy, because there also I am taking regular free classes. So if you can't afford to join Unacademy, then keep associated with us, keep sharing the content that we are providing, and work towards making this YouTube family bigger and better. We'll keep bringing more and more content for you, and the only fees that you have to pay, my friend, is that you have to work hard and you have to share and like each and every video that we are uploading. So that way this family gets bigger. Even the student in a rural area can take the benefit of the free initiatives that we have started. And my friend, you also get the best rank in GATE without having to stress about how to pay. So if you can't be paying or you can't afford to pay, then make sure that you are building this YouTube family, a bigger and a better YouTube family, the biggest and the best community of all electrical engineers. So that is all from my side. See you again in the next lecture. Thank you.